3, 2. All right. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to AARP Kentucky. I am Scott Wagnus. I'm the Associate State Director for Communications and Outreach here in the Kentucky State Office. This morning, we're very excited to be talking about a special donation to the God's Pantry Food Bank in Prestonsburg, and it serves a 50-county region in eastern Kentucky. And with us today are some special guests. But let me introduce our very own Charlotte Whitaker. Good morning, Charlotte. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Good morning, Prestonsburg. It is so exciting to be seeing my friends from afar and just happy to be here today. Thank you.
And Charlotte, do you want to talk a little bit about some of the food insecurity in your region that you've done some work with locally with veterans coming up?
Well, I'll share with you a project we did this summer. Actually, I did it from my recliner and had some great volunteers that helped. Our chapter donated $300 to the Ohio County Food Pantry, but we did it with a challenge. We asked our local radio station to work with us, and we challenged people to help the food pantry because we all know they are all struggling right now because the demand is huge, I'm sure, as well as in eastern Kentucky as it is in West Kentucky. And we raised over $15,000 for our food pantry by just announcing it on the radio. We had one afternoon as a drop-off with masks and following all the rules. And just think what $15,000, how many meals that has bought and provided to our Ohio Countyans. Now, a big project that's coming up, our executive council members were each given $500 to help a nonprofit. So Pat Gibson and I, we did this twice. So he and I both gave $1,000 to the Fordsville Food Pantry, which is very rural here, and then to the Ohio County Food Pantry. And with that $1,000, we're going to kick it off December 1st, the month of giving. We are going to announce that we are going to be providing 400 Christmas baskets for our veterans. Now, no health issues, no income guidelines, just a way that AARP salutes our veterans in West Kentucky. So it's going to be a great day, and we're doing it on Pearl Harbor Day, another special day for our country. So, this is a prime example of how good things are coming out of bad things in 2020. I've just seen people step to the plate and make things happen that I didn't. Who would have ever thought I would be given a $2,000 check this way? But I am. And we're just so happy to help Prestonsburg. I'm going to make a commitment to come and stay a whole week next year, John. I want to help with the food pantry and give out food, and I want to see places I haven't been. I want to take another boat ride too. I love those boat rides. So, and I'll bring your pictures, John. So, but we're just so happy to make good things happen across the Commonwealth. And this is what AARP does. As we speak, we have people in Washington that are fighting for our Social Security and our Medicare and all those things that are special to us. And I'm just very honored to be a volunteer with AARP because I get to meet great people like John and Jean Rosenberg and just to make great things happen across the Commonwealth. Thank you.
Well, Charlotte, thank you. And let's go to Prestonsburg. And with us this morning, we're very happy to have John and Jean Rosenberg. John, you all have been terrific supporters of aging well and living well in East Kentucky. Do you tell us a little bit about what tell us a little bit more about what the work is that the Jenny Wiley chapter is doing there?
Good. I think I just saw Judge Williams.
Let's welcome Judge Williams. Good morning, Judge.
Sorry,
I
sorry,
love
I'm a little late. I'm on the road.
Your
Judge
word.
Williams Noble.
That's great. Well, I'm glad to be here, and this is Jean with me, and we are happy to be here to represent the AARP chapter in Prestonsburg. We meet in what we call the high rise, which is a high rise as far as buildings go in this area, and is a home for folks over 62. It's an elderly high rise, and we moved and we decided to start meeting there because it's a little more convenient, I think, than places that we've tried. So we may now be, I guess, the only chapter in Eastern Kentucky actually from Winchester East. So we have a full schedule. Obviously, we are not meeting right now, but Charlotte mentioned a few minutes ago, we have our very nice annual boat ride usually in September on Jenny Wiley Lake. And then we've had a series of activities, again, which we aren't able to do. We've had 1 or 2 service days a year. Speaking of pantries, where we collect food at Food City, a group of us stay there most of the day and into the evening. And I don't have any figures with me right now, but we collect many, many baskets of donated food from folks who come to Food City to shop. And we out a list as they go in the door, and we won't let them go shopping unless they pass us. And then they generally add some cans or food that are on the list as they leave, and they also have an opportunity to donate into a jar. And we've really collected some sizable, really several $100s by at the end of the day, and hundreds of pounds of food. So that's been one of our big activities in the past. We had one of our star members pass away 2 or 3 years ago, Bertha Daniels, who helped to get that underway. And I just appeared on behalf of our chapter at the Kentucky Power, the hearing on the proposed rate increase by Kentucky Power, which serves many of our members here, and which we oppose because, of course, right now folks are in very difficult circumstances. They really are all year, and the utility bills become a major issue for them. It's got a growing issue, and so we have members and others who testified at that hearing who then have to choose, literally have to choose between paying their utility bill and paying for prescription drugs and that sort of thing. So AARP, I think, is a way really helps us nationally, and we're proud of our state officers, and we're proud of Charlotte, and we always like to see her. And when she mentions pickles, Charlotte is a champion pickle putter-upper. What's the best way to say that? It's not a can, it's a jar. She knows, and usually brings them along, but we're always glad to welcome her. She does a great job as a state president. And so I've been the chapter president. I jumped is not a good way to put it. Jim Goebel, who passed away in the last year, unfortunately. I think did he make it to 100? I think he did. Very close to it if he didn't, but Jim was chair for many, many years, and we miss him. And I try to do what I can to keep the chapter going. We have a nice group now in the high rise. So Jean is a member as well, of course. And so we've been to the legislature along with the rest of AARP to lobby for issues that are of importance to our members, particularly health, transportation, and food. I want to just close and say we have 12 pantries in this county, which is a little unusual for the size of our county, but all of them are operated by faith-based groups and with volunteers. And so they really appreciate the help from God's Pantry, being able to get their food there. And we're really proud of the fact that the state is giving us this additional donation. So thank you, Scott, for giving me this chance to say a few things. Are we there? Did we lose Scott?
Yeah, sorry, I lost my audio. But good morning, and let's go to the judge, because Judge, I know you're working, and we are delighted to have you on with us this morning. Tell us a little bit more about what's going on in your county, Floyd County. I know it's been a struggle with COVID-19 pandemic, as well as some of the other economic issues in your county, but you got some good folks working with you out there.
We do. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me okay? Sorry.
Yes, sir.
I'm on the road. I apologize. I had several meetings today, but thanks again for helping out, Scott. We certainly appreciate everything that you all do. These are difficult times for all of us, not only here in Floyd County, but all over the country. And
Yeah.
We're seeing a major increase in the demand at our food pantries, and all donations help. We certainly do appreciate AARP helping out. We do have wonderful folks locally that take care of this, the Rosenbergs, just great people, great supporters of our community. But again, we do want to thank you all for for the donation to our pantries, because there's definitely a need, and we're seeing an increase. The need is increasing daily. So thanks again, and we appreciate your help.
Well, Judge, thank you for dialing in, and we know you're working. So let's take this a little bit further. Our staff person is Daniel Rowe, who works out in the 5th Congressional District. Daniel, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning.
Tell us
Thanks
a
for
little bit
having
more
me.
about the outreach that ARP Kentucky is doing in the 5th District in Prestonsburg.
Sure. Well, we do a lot of different outreach activities across the state, and some of our efforts focus from community challenge grant projects, where we invest in local communities with dollars they can put towards livable community promotions, things that they can use in streetscapes, maybe murals, art projects. Those are some of the investments we've made in Eastern Kentucky. We've also seen opportunities to contribute just like this, with much needed dollars to pantries and other folks that have a great need. And we're glad to contribute to that and have the opportunity to do that as well and partner alongside our folks. I'm really proud of all of our volunteers and people behind the scenes that are working to impact lives positively in Eastern Kentucky and across the state, across our Commonwealth. I know people are working hard, not only in local outreach, but also, as has been mentioned, our advocacy efforts to advocate for things that matter to families that are in a much needed place. And I know we hear many stories all the time from folks that are struggling. And so we're glad to at least contribute in a small way to help those in a big way. And at this time, I'd love to introduce one of our local folks, and that's Dr. Karen Griffin. And she's the Food Bank Development Director with God's Pantry. So with that, I'll hand it back over to Karen.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me here today. I'm happy to be here and represent God's Pantry Food Bank. I guess I can start with just a bit about kind of the food bank and what we're seeing related to hunger and seniors and just the community itself and in and around Prestonsburg. So, even on the best of days pre-pandemic, hunger in the senior population is it's a big number. And here in Kentucky, between 50 and 59 of like that age group, 17% already were food insecure before the pandemic. And we know anecdotally that it's only been made worse by the pandemic and all of the factors around that. when you look at the numbers, 1 in 12 seniors in the state don't know where their next meal will come from. And that's why all the great work of those partners in and around Prestonsburg make such a huge difference in the quality of life of those seniors. And so the agency partners are amazing, and all of the work that AARP is doing, including at the state level, as well as, the Jenny Wiley chapter and the Rosenbergs who are carrying so much of that right now. It's really helping to make the life for seniors better in so many ways. And the food bank is just happy to be a part of that. And as we look at the pandemic, it's been interesting from food relief. I've been in the area of food relief for about 7 years now. I've only been in the state of Kentucky for about a year of it. But as you look at food relief, people now are saying, oh, the pandemic, maybe the worst is over, first of all, and I don't believe it is. And even if it were, the impact on those who were already kind of marginalized, it's a big deal, and it's not going to be a quick recovery for anyone who's been impacted. Job loss of family, the psychological toll on seniors and just the general population is tremendous. So it's going to take a while to recover, and we would not be able to meet the increased need that we've already seen here through the food bank without these partnerships like AARP and people thinking about their hungry neighbors. And so the gift from the Jenny Wiley chapter to Impact Prestonsburg, Daniel mentioned, in a small way, like a small amount in some way. And the reality is the efficiencies of food banking will allow that $2,000 to generate 16,000 meals into the community, because for every dollar we can create 8 meals. And so what we'll do with those monies, they'll go towards the operational support that we have in Prestonsburg, including helping to distribute all of that great food to those partners who are really the boots on the ground in that area, helping to feed those hungry seniors. And so we couldn't do it without you all, and we just really appreciate your generosity and appreciate you thinking about your hungry neighbors. And I just couldn't thank you enough. And the food bank is proud to be partners with you all.
Karen, thank you so much. And while you were speaking, I posted on the screen a story that recently came out, and rural areas in Kentucky seem to be hit harder than many other counties in Kentucky. Can you tell us a little bit more about what Feed America found in that research?
Sure. It's interesting. The Feeding America and God's Pantry Food Bank are doing a lot of research and drilling down to look at the pandemic and the differences in the way the pandemic have affected and impacted kind of a more suburban population and then those who are in more rural populations. And God's Pantry Food Bank, while our primary location is in Lexington, the great bulk of those that we serve are classified as rural. And the rural landscape has really been hit hard by the pandemic financially, job loss, just like in more urban areas. The isolation parts of a rural economy have really been, it's been even worse in those areas than in a more urban setting. And so the needs there have just grown tremendously. It's interesting. We went through in the first month or so of the pandemic when we were all going to the grocery store and there was no toilet paper and no cans of anything. That was a very big crisis point for the food bank, because just like you all were going to the grocery store looking for food and couldn't find it. Food banks were in the same boat in that we were ordering food and then waiting months and months for it to come in. And the rural populations getting food consistently and safely into the communities that need it the most has really been a place where we've spent a lot of our energies and a lot of our time and a lot of the great resources that people have given us through this pandemic have gone to impact our rural areas.
And Karen, one of the things that was disturbing in that research that came out a week ago or so was that people over age 50 and children are most at risk. Why is that the case? What is going on there with those statistics?
They're most at risk, I think, for a number of reasons. I think in part because while we equate food with health in many ways, that consistent supply of healthy foods is critical for anyone, children, people who are 30s. It's really significantly more important for seniors, that daily, consistent, balanced diet. And it's harder to get when you don't have that consistent access to food. And so many seniors, as somebody mentioned earlier about that senior making a choice between, do I buy that food or do I buy, medicine, or do I make this other choice? And all of our other bills have been the same or increased because of the pandemic. And so food is that kind of malleable piece that people are just being forced to spend less on, even if they're in the grocery stores. And our dollars just don't stretch. And the health of seniors is being significantly impacted, as well as the just psychological isolation of not having as many visits, not having, those caregivers, those folks who want to bring food and want to go see those folks over 60 or 65 that we care about. Those visits are less often or are more distanced. And it's just taking a big toll on, I believe, on our senior population.
And let me ask one final question too, that was, I think, relevant to what's coming up in Congress. In the research done by Columbia University for Feeding America, it said almost 200,000 Kentucky seniors are eligible for the SNAP program, but only 32% are benefiting from SNAP. What's happening there with our seniors in SNAP?
The research around that shows that, first of all, there's a gap in just everyone's, but seniors in particular, a gap in the knowledge base around eligibility. Many don't realize that they're eligible, and that's where AARP comes in and helps share that messaging, as does the food bank. So the awareness of the access to that people will use those. Another hurdle, I think, for some seniors is that to qualify for SNAP, it's all done online now. And so there's a technology piece that is a little more of a challenge maybe for some seniors. We have someone here on staff who does nothing in her daily life except try to get individuals access to those benefits. And we really could use more people doing that, because there's that underutilization, in particular in the senior population.
Thank you, Karen.
Mm-hmm.
John and Charlotte, go ahead, John.
Well, I was going to add, I think that for people over 60, I was glad to learn that, we really need to give a shout out to Governor Beshear, because I think some of the CARES money has made it possible to clear our waiting lists for Meals on Wheels. We had waiting lists, were huge, but now almost anybody else who signed up who's over 60, if they're not served on a route gets these meals for moms that are delivered. Gene and I were on a walk not too long ago, and one of our neighbors up the street had the FedEx or the U-Haul. I think they have contract drivers, but delivering a box of those meals for moms. And I was curious and called our aging council. In fact, I'm sorry, Liz Hamilton, who's one of our co-director, had told her we'd be on today, but I think I probably forgot to send her the link. If she were around, we did this in a little bit of a hurry, but I do think that's a wonderful thing that's happened. Now, it won't, right now, I think the funding is only through early next year, and hopefully there will be some federal legislation to extend that, but those additional meals, I think, have been really helpful. And of course, the other thing is that our pantries here, there are only 2 or 3 that used to actually serve meals, and they've had to stop. And so people have to drive up there to that location, and they're handing out boxes, but their resources are really limited. So it's made that much more difficult. And we appreciate, as you say, all the help we can get for folks.
John, thank you. Gene, you all are tremendous advocates for folks aging well in East Kentucky. Charlotte, let's come back. We're going to wrap up. We've got a couple of minutes left. But I know you, in your work as a former senior center director, you know firsthand the impact of hunger in the senior population.
I do want to share a couple more resources you might not know about. I'm on a community action board. Community Action is handling the governor's money for Healthy at Home. And this means anyone that's been affected with COVID. It's a self-proclaimed income type thing. I don't think you have to do, the exact amount and so forth. But sewer bills, water bills, of course, now the LIHEAP's available for utilities. So, there is a plan there to make it all work. Some people just are not aware. And that I think that we as volunteers, that's part of our mission to, just like John said, people are not aware about SNAP. Maybe we need to encourage more volunteers to help do the paperwork, the computer work for our friends, whether it be at the library or senior center, wherever. Prestonsburg, I've done a little research on Prestonsburg. I found that you had one of the first Pony Express libraries in the nation in the 1700s. And for you all to have 12 food pantries is amazing. I think that is fantastic work because I personally believe in taking the services to the community. I've always done that. I opened 4 rural senior centers when I was director because people don't. Not everybody drives and not everybody has the resources to buy gas to get to these services. So thank you, John and Kathy and all of you for all your hard work, the judge, for making all this work in your county because your county is very blessed and not everybody has the resources that you all do. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlotte. And John, you've got a fan somewhere out on Facebook who says you look dapper in your blue sweater.
Well, thank you.
John has a
I
following.
didn't plant her.
Okay, we've got just a minute left. I do want to come back to Karen. Tell us where to go, where people can go if they need help. What's the best way to get there and get some help during the holiday season?
Well, for more information, you can always check out our website, which is godspantry.org. It has all the resources, lists all of our facilities, has references to the agencies that John and Charlotte are talking about out there in the community. And there is an information number on there. So if you're not interested in looking kind of yourself and drilling down, if you call and ask, like, I'm in this city or this town, then we can connect you with the resources, our partner agencies around there. give you the times that they're available, give you their connections, their number, so that you can reach out to them directly to access the food that's out there, because it truly does take a village of people to help meet the hunger needs in the state. And so we are happy to connect you with whoever is best positioned to do that.
Oh, and
Right.
let me just add to what Karen said before we go. I wanted to give a shout out to Debbie Embergy, who has been in charge of this local God's Pantry warehouse for many years, and she does a great job with her small staff and some of her volunteers. I know our retired former director of our science center goes up there once or twice a week to help them unload their trucks. And again, it's something that many of us who are in senior status are staying away from some of these volunteer activities because of COVID. It's a little frustrating, but that warehouse is just a great place, and Debbie does a great job.
She does. It's such a gem out there in Prestonsburg. It really is.
Well, I want to thank all of you all for joining us this morning. The number, Karen, is now posted on the screen below, 859-255-6592. That's where you can go and get some assistance if you need help. And also you can look at the God's Pantry Facebook page and the AARP Kentucky Facebook page, and the AARP Foundation does tremendous work in fighting senior hunger. So everybody, I want to wish you all a good, happy, healthy holiday. Thank you for joining us this morning. Daniel, any final thoughts from you? Okay. And we will close this out with a big thank you to everybody for joining this morning. And we are looking forward to working with you again. Sorry we can't come out to Peaburg to do this in person again, because that's always fun to visit with you all.
Maybe September 2021.
We are looking forward with hope.
Thank you all. Y'all have a great Thanksgiving.
All right.
Thank you, Scott. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
See you soon. Be well. Thank you.